the best DAC under $1,000, and I paid $585 for it. Let's talk about the amazing and versatile Chord Mojo 2. Hi and welcome. I'm Hunter Gray, and this is Hunter-Gray-LUV-Music. I started this channel because I want to help you reach your hi-fi happy place. Because to me, music is just awesome. And listening to my favorite music is super important to me. Listening to music just grounds my daily life. And that means I want my music to sound beautiful when I play it. So that's why we're here talking about hi-fi gear. Because your hi-fi gear and my hi-fi gear helps or hurts, unfortunately, how the music we love sounds. So slow down for a few minutes and enjoy while we have a chat about the best DAC under $1,000. So I evaluate and review hi-fi gear sort of like an equation in algebra. When you isolate the variable to solve for x, the variables in this metaphorical equation are the components in the signal chain. And whichever component being evaluated, whether the speaker, amp, or DAC, needs to be the only component in my signal chain that changes. Every other component should remain as a constant. This is the way I know the changes I am describing to you in the sound as a result of the single item in the signal path that has been changed. So this means when I was evaluating the Chord Mojo 2, the DAC in the signal path that I used, or I'm sorry, this is the entire signal path that I was using, because I'm primarily referring to the Mojo 2 as an inline DAC in a main hi-fi system. So my signal chain was the KEF LS50 Meta speakers, the Class D XTZ Edge A2-300, the 300 watt per channel into 4 ohm, 150 watt per channel into 8 ohm, and a WIM mini streamer, spit a fiber optic digital into the DAC. So the Mojo 2, I A/B listened with the SMSL VMV D1 SE, and also the sort of, I refer to as check the box. It's very affordable and good enough shit, Modi 3, I think it's plus, which is like $140 these days, but you can get it on sale often. The SMSL VMV D1 SE is about an $800 DAC. So I also did evaluate as a headphone DAC amp because I think too many people think of this as a chunky dongle DAC and are not thinking of its utilization as a primary inline DAC in your home system. So I did evaluate it against the Cayenne RU6 R2R ladder DAC, which is my favorite dongle DAC for my IEMs. I also used the Hibby FC6, which is also an R2R ladder DAC, which has FPGA reclocking. It's excellent also. And the R2R ladder DACs give it a slightly warmer, more analog sound, but there is just no question that the resolution, the transparency, the detail retrieval, the instrument layering, technically the Mojo 2 is just in another league. So this review is really about the Mojo 2's prowess as an inline DAC in a primary hi-fi system. And it's the best DAC for your primary hi-fi system under $1,000. You know, the Mojo 2 may even be better than some higher price DACs more than $1,000. It punches so far above its weight class. Very quickly, a few specs. The Mojo 2 lists for $650, but it's on sale several times a year on Amazon at $585, just what I paid for it. It is an FPGA Delta Sigma DAC. It's actually a DAC amp combo with a Class AB amplification stage. So when you use it with headphones or an IEM, it also has that Class AB amplification with 600 milliwatts into 30 ohms and 90 milliwatts into 300 ohms. It also has a fantastic and very granular volume adjustment. So I can find exactly the right volume level I want on any headphone or IEM, which is especially important to me on very sensitive IEMs. It has what Cord refers to as intelligent desktop mode, which is entered automatically when it is left plugged into a power source. And this protects the internal battery and is indicated by a purplish battery light. And this is what the DAC will go into, the intelligent desktop mode, when you are using this little guy as your primary or exclusively your DAC in your inline home system. The Mojo also has a rather extensive DSP/EQ features that I'm not really going to get into, because that, in my opinion, is not what makes this the best DAC under $1,000. But it is noteworthy that the Mojo 2 DSP is lossless, which is really unusual. Another feature I want to mention is the crossfeed function when listening to headphones or IEMs. I love the crossfeed when it's turned on, and I can hear a difference in the sound stage when this feature is turned on. So I think that's a valuable feature to note. But this review is not about the specs or features or a tutorial on how to use the Mojo 2, because it takes a little bit of a learning curve. Those already exist online. This is about why it's the best sounding DAC under $1,000. My North Star is my ears. My guiding principle is to listen with my ears and evaluate based on what I hear. I'm aware of measurements, but they are not my North Star. I want an emotional connection and an engagement and beauty when I listen to music, regardless of what the squiggly lines show. Having said that, the Cord Mojo 2 is the most technically accomplished DAC available under $1,000 that's on the market today, bar none. I am not the one who can fairly convey to you the heights of the Mojo 2's technical accomplishments contained in this DAC. So I am going to put down in the description a link to the designer of the Mojo 2, Rob Watts, speaking about the technical achievements made by the Mojo 2. So please click that link. It's about an hour, talk by Rob Watts. It's very technical, but if you can just sort of hover at 30,000 feet and stay with him, I think you'll be very impressed at the technical engineering that went into this. And by the way, during the talk, Rob Watts discusses his iterative process and how his listening for changes and results from each iteration are such an important part of his creative process. He makes technical engineering tweaks and adjustments, then he listens, then he tweaks and adjusts again and iterates, then he listens. I love the way he respects and utilizes listening as a part of his technical voicing and engineering of Rob Watts' designs. So what do I hear when I critically A/B listen to these DACs? I hear from the Mojo 2 more instrument separation and layering during complex musical passages that when lots of instruments are playing all at once. Played with the Mojo 2 in the signal path, you can hunt in your critical listening for specific instruments. You can find them and hear those individually if you want to. And I have not been able to hear and identify on other DACs under $1,000 the way that you can clearly on the Mojo 2. Many of you probably will not be familiar with his music because it's Spanish language, but Juan Luis Guerra has won 3 Grammy Awards and 24 Latin Grammys. And his band, Juan Luis Guerra, has 13 members in it, in addition to himself. In his live performances, he often has as many as 20 musicians playing in his band. This includes a brass section and an extensive Latin percussion section. The point is, and I'll put a link to a couple of Juan Luis Guerra songs down below in the description. The point is, his music is very rich and very complex with a lot going on all at once with so many instruments. And with the Chord Mojo 2 in the signal path, the layering and the instrument separation that you can hear and follow and identify is clearly a noticeable difference from any other DAC anywhere under $1,000, and probably also above that price point. This is the most clear distinction that I can hear from the Mojo 2. And personally, for me, I love combining the high level of instrument separation and transparency and layering and detail retrieval with a Class A tube amp. This is my favorite combination. The Mojo 2 inline is the DAC feeding one of my tube amps. If you haven't tried it, you will be in for a treat. Now, the second area that the Mojo stands out is in the depth of the soundstage. It's not at the level of difference that a tube amp can add to a soundstage, but it is noticeable when A/B switching with other DACs. You can almost in the soundstage tell if the upright bass is behind where the saxophone player or the trumpet player is in a jazz quintet or that kind of thing. It's noticeable. So I do again want to mention that using the Mojo 2 as both an inline DAC and a hi-fi system, which is what I've been referring to, and what I'm emphasizing, that as a DAC in your primary hi-fi system, this is the best DAC under $1,000. But it is so versatile because it's also a headphone and IEM DAC amp. And I think many people primarily think of the Mojo 2 as only a headphone or IEM DAC. And I'm going to confess that I owned the Mojo 2 for well over a year before I even tried it as an inline DAC in one of my hi-fi systems. That's my bad. But once I did, the Mojo 2 has stayed in those systems as this little guy's home. And I remove it from my inline system when I want to use it with one of my high-end IEMs to listen to in bed when my wife wants to watch something I'm not keen on, and I opt to enjoy some high-end listening with my Chord Mojo 2 and usually my Zenz Magritte Up IEMs. That, incidentally, the Zenz Up and the Mojo 2 is an exquisite combination for mobile, taking beautiful music with you. Now I will point out, if you can see, I put Velcro on the back here, and I've got the soft matching Velcro on my cell phone. So I don't take this portable in my pocket. It's way too chunky for that. But I do Velcro it to my phone so that it doesn't damage my data port on my phone. But for airplanes and travel, that is functional. I'm not going to say it's just not very portable to me, but it's great for listening to IEMs at home in bed. But my Mojo 2's main role these days is inline in my dining room system, and I love it. Yeah, I just absolutely am continuously impressed with the level of transparency and instrument separation and layering and detail retrieval that I get from the Chord Mojo 2. So if you have not yet used your Mojo 2 as an inline DAC in your main hi-fi system, let me strongly encourage you to try it. I think you will be very impressed with it. I'd like to take a brief minute here to ask for your support for this channel. If you enjoy my take on speakers, amps, DACs, streamers, headphones, and IMs, then I'd like to ask you to subscribe to this channel. It would really mean a lot to me. If you could hit the thumbs up and like the video, if you do like it, that plays a significantly impactful role in the YouTube algorithm. So I would appreciate that. And if you're able, please support the channel by joining my Patreon. There's a link down below. There's a Telegram chat option as well as Zoom meeting get-togethers for patrons. So please click on the Patreon link in the description and take a look around. Also, I want to make you aware that most, but not all of the links in the description below are affiliate links that do not cost you anything when you buy something, but this channel does get a commission. So those affiliate links are your no-cost way to support the channel. But I'd love to get to know you personally when you join my Patreon. I'd get to know you and your system, what you have at home, what your Grail system looks like, and what you are considering upgrading in your signal path. Also, feel free to comment on what types of videos you'd like to see more of going forward. So thank you again for your support for the channel. So the Chord Mojo 2 is clearly the best DAC under $1,000 bucks. Now, if I want to say thank you for watching. My goal is to help you reach and enjoy your hi-fi happy place. But what do you guys think about the Chord Mojo 2, especially as an inline DAC in your main hi-fi system? Please share your thoughts and comments down below. And most definitely, please come back to this channel and watch again. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Cheers.